Good evening. We'll start with Nayanthara. Nayanthara, over to you.
DPS Jalandhar holds a webinar on the Kargil War, which was fought in the year 1999 between India and Pakistan. This was the fourth war with Pakistan since we gained our independence in the year 1947. Earlier, the wars were fought in the years 1947, 1965, and 1971 before the Kargil War happened. On behalf of the principal of DPS Jalandhar, Mrs. Ritu Kaul, faculty, and students, I, Nantara Singh, extend my heartfelt welcome to Colonel Ajay Singh, our guest of honor for the day. And it is indeed a privilege that he is here with us to share his thoughts. Now, I shall hand over to Mrs. Madhunanda for further proceedings.
Thank you, Nayanthara. At the outset, I, Madhunanda, take this opportunity to place before the assemblage extraordinary credentials of Colonel Ajay Singh, who has served in the Indian Army for 28 years. Before taking premature release in the year 2011. In his distinguished career, he has served across the country and overseas. Since then, he has written over 200 published articles and authored 4 books. Some notable ones are The Battles That Shaped Indian History, is now in its 4th edition. Next, Spectrum of Modern Warfare, Through Orphan Eyes, is a historical novel that has been a national bestseller. His latest book, India's Battlefields, From Kurukshetra to Balakot, covers 42 of India's battles. His 5th book, a collection of short stories, is due for release in October 2021. Let me also add, he often speaks in schools, colleges, army and civil institutions on a range of subjects and appears frequently on television. He is the soldier scholar from a tank regiment which he commanded with utmost professionalism and elan. Today, during the course of the webinar, he will lucidly explain the Kargil War to all our participants and assemblage, and will unfold the bravery and sacrifices made by the defense forces of the nation. But before that, I'll request the Honorable Principal, DPS Jalandhar, Mrs. Ritu Kaul, to say a few words. The Principal, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Nanda ma'am, and good evening, sir, and good evening to all my dear children and colleagues. Sir, it is our honor to have you for this online session. Thank you for sparing your valuable time for my children. I am very sure that all are very excited to interact with you today. Sir, I would like to tell you here that it has been our constant endeavor to educate our students towards contributions made by our soldiers. As a small effort, we introduce books on Indian Defense Forces in our middle school curriculum, and the impact of those books transpiring into an emotional ride for the young readers is evident. Those 2 books were one was, I think, The Brave by Mrs. Rachna Bisht, and the other, India's Most Fearless by Shiv Arur and Rahul Singh. The students have shown keen interest in the hair-raising account of our soldiers. Not only have they developed a connect with the brave soldiers, brave hearts, but they have also become aware of the essence of the Indian Army. Your session, I'm very sure about it, sir, is a golden opportunity for our students, which would provide them glimpse of Kargil War and would be instrumental in making our students aware of the great valor and courage displayed by our soldiers. Looking forward to hearing you speak. Thank you once again, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request our learned speaker to give us an insight to the Kargil War, Colonel Ajay Singh. Over to you.
Thank you very much for such a generous and such a gracious introduction. And I must say, I am honored to be able to have got the chance to speak to all your wonderful children and speak to all of you and tell you the little bit which I know about the Kargil War. From what I've seen of Nayantara and the other girls and boys who are here, I don't think any of you would have even been born when the war would have taken place. Nah? So you have heard stories about it. So then I will also tell you a story, and I'll tell you the story of what happened in Kargil. Okay, it is no lecture, no nothing. It's a nice, simple story I'm going to tell to all of you. Now, has anybody been to Kargil? Anybody?
No, sir.
No, sir. Did anybody go?
Oh, sir. Jammu, only up to Jammu. Not beyond.
Now,
No, sir.
Not beyond.
yes, you are close. But beyond Jammu, if you go, where will you go? You will go to Srinagar, no? And beyond Srinagar, there is this place in Kargil called Kargil. Now, Kargil is actually a very beautiful place. Can you see it here? Such a beautiful place, rivers flowing below, nice little hamlets all around. But what makes it important? Can you see those huge peaks in the background? Those huge mountains? Behind these mountains lies Pakistan. Just about 7 or 8 kilometers away. And here where this little valley, this pretty little valley is, there's a nice road which goes from Leh to Srinagar and on towards Jammu. Right. Now, I am talking about 1999, when the Pakistani soldiers came and sat on these mountains. Now, and I'm not just talking in Kargil, they sat across the mountains in an area of almost 150 kilometers. By doing that, what could they do? They could see all those towns below. They could see that road going below. They could not allow any of our Indian soldiers to move. And the story of how Kargil came also is a very interesting one. You know, these are the soldiers, the Pakistani soldiers that had climbed up onto those mountains, and they remained there in civilian clothes. Why? Why did they not wear uniforms like good soldiers? Because they wanted to lie and tell the world that Pakistani army is not involved. These are Kashmiri people who are doing it. That was a wrong thing. And even bigger wrong thing was, you know what? Who was the man whose plan it was to launch the war in Kargil? What was their name, anybody? Who was the Pakistani man?
Sir Nawab Sharif.
Nawaz Sharif was the prime minister. The Pakistani general. Yes, correct. You are absolutely right. It was General Pervez Musharraf who made this plan to go and sit on those mountains and capture it. Now, you know what is the worst part about it? He made this plan when Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, the Pakistani Prime Minister, and the Indian Prime Minister, who was he? His name I forget. What was his name?
Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Absolutely right. Both the prime ministers were in Lahore. They were shaking hands and they were talking about peace between India and Pakistan. While our prime ministers were doing it, General Musharraf and his soldiers were already making the plans to attack in the area of Kargil. Now, can you see these mountains?
Yes, sir.
These
Yes,
are
sir.
the mountains which overlook Kargil. Does it look very difficult to you to climb? Would you like
Yes,
to go
sir.
rock and climb?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Difficult? No. They were sitting right on the top of these mountains. And you want to see them from slightly closer?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes, sir.
this is how these mountains look. If you have to climb them, you will have to climb such a difficult climb. Let me tell you how difficult it will be. Suppose in your building, you have to climb 5 floors. Will you find it difficult?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is no lift, but you have to climb 5 stores. You'll find it difficult, no?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
suppose you have to climb 50 floors. Will you find it difficult?
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, very difficult.
Very difficult.
Yes,
And
sir. Very
suppose you
difficult.
climb 500 floors. Will you find it even more difficult?
Sir, it is nearly
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
probably would
Yes,
think
sir.
that way. Sir, it is nearly impossible.
Yes. But when the Indian army had to go and capture these heights, these mountains, they had to climb the equivalent of 5,000 floors. Not 5, not 50, not 500. Now, if you are climbing 5 stories floors and somebody is throwing stones at you, will it be more difficult?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Indian army was climbing these 5,000 floors. They were Pakistani soldiers firing machine guns at them. Can you imagine how difficult it would have been to have gone up this and then to fight with them and recapture the area which they have taken? This is how difficult the task it was. But now, when the Pakistanis came and they sat on those heights of Kargil, they began firing at the Indian army. Now we were below. They were firing at us. And sometime in May 9, we did not even, they were hiding. We didn't know that they are there. In May 1999, a shepherd came and told us that on those mountains, there are some men with weapons in black uniforms. And that is when we realized that these are Pakistani soldiers sitting out there. So, first we went to find out who are there. Now, in the army, to find out, you do what you call, you send patrols. You send about 10 or 12 people who go close and see it. The first patrol which went was by a very brave officer called Lieutenant Saurav Kalia. Unfortunately, his patrol was captured and ambushed by the enemy, and they were killed with a lot of torture. That is a very, very sad thing that happened. But then we realized that now the Pakistanis are there. They were beginning to fire at us. And we began making a plan. We said, we have to remove these Pakistanis from the mountains where they are sitting at. And we launched a plan. The name of that plan was Operation Vijay. This plan meant attacking up those mountains, fighting with the Pakistanis, killing them, throwing them out, and recapturing each of those peaks one by one. Remember, I am talking of only one peak, Kargil peaks. In the area of Kargil also, there were about 20 peaks. In the entire area, there were around 100 such difficult peaks, each of which had to be captured. And for each of those 100 peaks, our men had to climb up that really difficult wall. Remember, I showed it to you. They had to climb up that.
Yes, sir.
Pakistani is firing on them, and they had to go and recapture it. Do you think, you said, na, climbing 500 floors is almost impossible. So then, even this would have been almost impossible, no?
Yes,
Don't-
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You are right. You are right. It was almost impossible. Almost. Not impossible. Almost impossible. And before our men were attacking, we had guns which were firing on them. Our aeroplanes were dropping bombs on them. It was difficult, but they were firing on them. And now, when the guns were firing, our men were coming close to the peaks, to the top of the peaks. But then, in the end, that last 200 yards or so, they had to run with their guns and their bayonets without any fire support and actually fight each Pakistani one by one. They had to go to bunkers. You know what bunkers are, no? Bunkers are small things made of cement. Inside them were machine guns. So, how do you get rid of them? You have to crawl, come close and hope the enemy doesn't see you. Come so close, a bunker has got a small hole. It may be as small as the screen on your laptop. Maybe it's smaller than that. And you have to throw a grenade inside it. Then when you kill the others, can you go in and you kill the who are left and take over the bunker. With this kind of action.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Sir,
No.
can you read the previous line which you said?
I can't hear you. Say again, please. Madhu, I couldn't hear what you were saying.
So I will ask him to message the question. You can continue, sir.
Oh. Okay. I'll answer all your questions as you go along. Don't worry, I've got a lot of time for your answers. Right? Now, slowly, one by one, we started capturing the peaks. What was the first important peak we captured? What was its name? Anybody remembers?
Tiger Hill.
Yes.
Sir, Tiger.
Absolutely right. Tiger Hill, right? And I'll show it to you. Tiger Hill was a big peak you saw behind. Why is Tiger Hill so important? Because it is the
Sir, it was
highest,
a natural border.
not only that, it is the highest point. So when you go and capture the highest point in a mountain, it is like when you play games.
You can see what's happening in the other countries or in the
When you from there, you can see what's happening in the lower mountains. From there, you can attack down towards the lower mountains.
Ma'am, sir, from the upper side to lower side, you have the upper hand then.
Yes, don't you play the game in school, King of the Mountain? In that, the person who is the king of the highest place is the one who can defeat everybody else. Hai na? In mountains,
Sir.
it was like this only. So we first captured Tiger Hill and a place called Tololing. These gave us an advantage. We captured Tiger Hill and Tololing sometime in the first week of July 1999. Before that, the Pakistanis were having the upper hand. They were defeating our attacks. We were not allowed to close in. But once we started capturing it, from there, we started coming down and one by one taking over each of the peaks the Pakistanis had captured. Now what happened? Suddenly, the Pakistanis realized that our reaction, the way we have gone about it, is much stronger than what they expected. You all said, no, it is almost impossible, almost impossible. The Pakistanis kept on saying it is impossible. It was, they didn't use the word almost. And the Indian army achieved the almost impossible by capturing each of those peaks. Now, the Pakistanis started withdrawing. They started going back away from the mountains. And when they started going back, they left the dead and the wounded behind. They did not even carry them back. Remember, in the army, in the Indian army, I'm so proud of being into it. We always carry our wounded and our dead. We get them back.
Yes, sir.
You always do that. You know, it is the last respect you give to your comrade, to your fighting soldier, to the man whom you've lived and died with. The Pakistanis left them behind. And it was the Indian army who gave them a burial with full military honors and with the good prayers of a Maulvi to them.
India has still some or the other humanity
Yes.
to their enemies.
And we should always have that. That love, kindness, and compassion should always be there.
Yes, sir. I think that Kargil war changed the perspective of how we see the army. Sir, it was.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, it shaped the Indian army, ma'am. The new generation.
And you know, one thing I always say, in spite of the guns, in spite of the aircraft, this war was won by individual officers and men. The men who fought there were all between 20 to 35 years old. Each of these men were willing to charge up those mountains against machine guns as big as these. Each one of them was willing to die without a second thought for just to regain his country's honor. In this photograph, I am showing you one of India's bravest sons. Does anybody recognize him?
Sir, Captain
Vikram Batra.
Excellent.
Sir, Captain Vikram.
Captain Vikram. Right.
Excellent. Let me tell you his story. He had led not one but two attacks to capture two major peaks. When he captured the first one, after that, when the attack went in 2 days later for the next peak, it was called 0.5140. He was sick, but he told his CEO, sir, let me take the attack. And he climbed up from a height, from behind, even more dangerous than the rock which I showed you. Now, you know, he used to attack so often and with so much courage. You know what is the name the Pakistanis had given him? Sher Shah. They called him Sher Shah. They used to, on the radio set, when they used to hear him coming, they say, Sher Shah, tum fir se aa gaye ho. And he said, हाँ साले मैं आकर के तुम लोग को सबको यहाँ से हटा दूंगा. In his second attack, the Pakistani machine guns were firing at them. He was left with only 5 men. And one of the soldiers said, मैं उस गन को चार्ज करूंगा, and when they are distracted, आप लोग साइड से जाकर के उसको मशीन और बंकर को हमला कर लो. And Vikram Batra said, no. Yes, तुम्हारी शादी हो गई. You are a married man. You have got children. I am not married. I will attack and you all go from the sides. So he charged the machine gun. He came close to it. He even threw grenades inside the pit before being killed. And that gave the time for the others to come from the side and capture that position. This is the courage of a man whom you know. Every man who participated in that war had the same kind of courage. Let me tell you one more. This is a young Lieutenant Vikrant Thapar. He was just 22 years old, right? Now, the person who was his CEO, I happen to know him. And he told me what happened the night before. He said one night before the attack, all the officers were in the same tent. There were 6 officers. He said, I'm the only man who is living there today. All the officers died in the attack. They were told, they attacked on Tololing, the most important feature, the major attack. Now, when they were to attack, they were told tomorrow morning we'll attack on Tololing. So the men started writing letters. They all knew how difficult the task is. He wrote to his parents and he said, you know, Mommy and Daddy, when you receive this letter, I will not be in this world. I will be in heaven with the Apsaras. But if I have a choice to join the Indian Army and do the same thing what I do now, I will repeat it. Look at his courage. Look at his selflessness. When he knew that the next day will be his last, he is still saying, I will go and I'll do it repeatedly for my country. These are just names, you know. I am giving you one. They can give you hundreds of stories, not one, hundreds of them. Of officers who were climbing, they broke the leg, so they cut off their shoes and threw it away because it was swollen and they could climb up the mountains with bare feet. When we talk, each man who participated was a hero. Not one man turned back. Nobody ran away. Everybody reached there. Everybody did their duty. Some succeeded. Some attacks failed. But at the end of it all, on 26th of July, 1999, the date which we will be celebrating day after tomorrow, the last peak which was occupied by the Pakistanis was recaptured by us. The Pakistanis were forced to withdraw in complete disgrace, leaving behind their dead, leaving behind their wounded, and suffering the humiliation of having been thrown out. But this war was not a cheap war. 2.5 months of fighting, in which 516 officers and men were killed. More than 2,000 were wounded. But at the end of it, every height was recaptured, every inch of a territory came back to us. This story is a story of nothing more than courage. And it is something we must remember, that we won this battle because of individual people, one by one, who were willing to give everything just so that you and I could be safe in our homes and a nation could be secure. That is why we celebrate Vijay Diwas on the 26th of July. And that is why each one of you must remember this victory and those who made it possible. Now, I have completed my small little story. I've seen a lot of people raising their hands. So whatever questions you want to ask me, whatever stories you want to tell me, I will listen to it. Okay, tell me, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I watched a movie named Gunjan Saxena, The Kargil Girl.
Right.
She was in Air Force.
Right.
And, she also fought very bravely in the war.
Yes, yes. Yes.
And I think that she was the only one, the first lady Air Force.
Okay, okay.
Pilot.
Well, no, she did fight. Gunjan Saxena did fight a good battle. But I must also tell you that that story has been a lot of things which are not correct have come about in that story.
Modification.
Yes, she did fight a good battle, Gunjan Saxena, but so did all. This story was slightly more romanticized. No? Okay, next person. I can see who's got to raise his hand. Yes, tell me.
So, I would just like to request everybody that the time is we are left with less time, so we can rejoin the meeting and then we can continue.
Good evening, sir.
So I
Tell me.
No, we can rejoin.
I wanted to ask that wouldn't we lack so much manpower? Like so many were wounded, so many were injured, so many were dead. So won't we lack some manpower because so many of them could not be in charge?
See, that is true. You see, each man is a personal tragedy. The death of each man is a personal tragedy. But the thing is, we do have the manpower. We do have the soldiers to do these duties. But we must use them correctly, and we must ensure, even our politicians and everybody else must ensure that such a kind of a repeat never takes place again.
Thank you, Colonel Ajay Singh, for elucidating the Kargil war in such a simple and easy to understand manner. It was certainly a rare view of how bravely soldiers of a nation fought and made sacrifices in the defense of the country. And we will always remain indebted to them. And on personal level, Colonel Ajay Singh, when I was listening to your stories, I had goose pimples. When I was going through the whole war, when you were explaining. We will now move on to Q&A session. Children, I have already received few questions. So first we are going to entertain them, and then we'll see our timing, and then we'll do it. So the first question is by Kapish of class 6.
Okay.
Kapish?
Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Hello.
sir. My name is Kapish Sharma. My question is, what motivated you to join the army?
Well, for me, actually, I joined the army in 1980. And to be very honest, I was motivated because I saw a movie about tanks. And I liked the idea of wearing a black uniform. That is why I joined the army. A very silly reason, but that's the real reason why I joined the army. But I can only say one thing. 28 years in the army have been the happiest years of my life. And I will never change it for anything else in this world. I'm actually very grateful that I've had the opportunity to be in this army for so many years, which has given me so much. Okay, next question, please. Thank you.
Next question, please. Daksh, over to you.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. My name is Daksh. And my question is, can you please share with us about the ammunition and weapons used during the Kargil war?
Very good question. Very good question. Okay. Now, see, like I told you, when the soldiers were going, you have what you call a personal weapon, which were stain guns. You have got our rifles, SLR rifles as we call it. But more than what the individual persons had, you have a lot of supporting weapons. Weapons which support the attack.
Okay,
they are machine guns. Our own machine guns were firing. You have mortars, small rockets. You have got your artillery, which played a very, very big role. And in the artillery, the Bofors gun was a very effective gun, which played a big part in our victories in this war.
Okay, sir.
These are the major weapons. And besides that, of course, you have the Air Force with the Mirage 2000s and the helicopters, which also contributed great to this victory.
Colonel Ajay, were tanks used in this?
No. Tanks were not at all used because the heights are so much. Tanks cannot operate in these heights. Tanks are used for planes in level ground. So tanks could not be used in these heights here.
But they were guarding the other borders.
Yes.
Of India.
The role of the tanks was, remember, when Kargil was going on, there was also the fear that Pakistan could do a similar action anywhere else, in Punjab, near Amritsar. So the tanks and other soldiers were also near the border there. Tanks were used out there, just so that Pakistan does not try a similar action in these areas.
So why didn't we use BMPs?
Same, tanks and BMPs also were not used in those heights. You can't use them. When a man can barely walk, you can't use this tanks or BMPs there. Their role came about in the plains and slightly lower near Jammu in these areas.
So
where we were keeping them away so that they don't start any action in this area.
Couldn't they use mines, landmines?
Mines, yes. Good. Very good. Now, I have not given all the equipment, but yes. Now, let me tell you, okay, mines are used by a defender. So, when the Pakistanis had occupied those hills, besides firing down wherever there was a small gap where we could come in, they had put mines there. A lot of our men died because their foot came onto a mine and their leg were blown off. But when you attack, you don't need mines. It is a defender who needs mines. That is why they had used it, but we did not utilize it for the attack.
Sir, but fighter planes couldn't fly at such a height. Could they?
Very good question. Fighter planes, yes. Remember one thing, when you fly at about, say, flying at 1,000 kilometers per hour, you're looking down and you can see nothing, only mountains. You cannot make out anything at that height also. Now, the first day of the war, 28th of May, we lost 2 planes. First was a MiG-27, which came into attacking, Tiger Hill it was attacking. And that, unfortunately, it had a mechanical failure, it fell, and a MiG-21 was shot down by a Pakistani missile. 2 days later, we also lost a helicopter, which was shot again by a Pakistani missile from there. Now, at those heights, to hit a pinpoint target, a bunker, is difficult. So what the Air Force had done, they modified bombs. They could not come close to it because then they would be hit by the missiles. So they modified bombs which could be fired from, say, 5 kilometers away. And then they would be guided onto the target. By using it in this manner, we suffered no other aircraft casualties in the war, but we still managed to hit the Pakistani targets there.
So what was the role of Israel? So there was help by Israel to India.
No, they didn't help. What help they gave was they provided ammunition, they provided us guns, which we required. But otherwise, no. This was a pure Indian Army operation. Nobody else was involved in it.
Basically,
Again, Namya, she is a big fan of, I think, Captain Vikram Batra. She would like to ask you a question. Namya,
Okay.
over to you, Bacha.
Yeah, tell me again, I didn't hear the question.
Good evening, sir. My name is Namya Agarwal. My question is, did you ever meet Captain Vikram Batra?
No, unfortunately, no, I've never met him. But like everybody else, I've heard so much of him, and we can only salute his courage. And as you know, the story I told about him, he was a young man, 24 years old, that is all. He had launched 2 attacks. The first attack...
I still remember there was one soldier who used to say that slogan, Dil Mange More.
Yes.
वो किसका slogan था?
That was Captain Vikram Batra. When he climbed the peak, when he climbed and captured the peak, his success signal was Ye Dil Mange More. Why? Because he said, I am ready to go to the next peak also. And when he went to the next peak 3 days later to capture it, that is when he was unfortunately killed. That is
Thank
the story.
you, sir.
One man's cut. Just one man. There were hundreds like him.
Yamya, over to you. Yamya.
Thank you.
Yamya.
Good evening, sir. My name is Yamya Khanna. And my question is, what are the difficulties and challenges faced by the soldiers at such a height? And have you ever personally encountered any of these challenges?
Okay, I have not fought there, but yes, I will tell you that. Let me, I remember the example I gave you of climbing 5 floors, 5,000 floors.
Yes.
Let me tell you how it is. When you are that high, you know what happens to you? You cannot breathe. There is no oxygen at that height. So every 10 feet you stop, you walk, you have to stop and breathe. Your body, your head is hurting all the time because you got no oxygen going inside it. You cannot see, you get dizzy spells. And in these conditions, living is impossible. You have to fight. When you are up there, you know what was the temperature there? The temperatures were -10 degrees, -20. The winds are moving at 60 kilometers per hour in those heights. Did you see those photographs I showed you of the mountains?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Each rock is like a sharp razor. You climb into it, it cuts your hand. These
They might
conditions.
have frostbites.
Yes, you get frostbite in those conditions. If you're like this, if your body, your part exposed, your fingers are freezing because of cold. Men get heart attacks. Fit men get heart attacks. You know why? One of your organs has frozen, literally frozen. Those are the conditions in which they lived and fought.
Our soldiers fought in those difficult conditions. Jannat, over to you, beta.
Good evening, sir.
Jannat Verma.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm Janet, and my question is, how can I visit the places where the Kargil war took place?
Okay. What you must do, go down to, you won't be able to go to the heights, that'll be very difficult. But you must go to Kargil. From Srinagar, go to Srinagar first. They also have a Kargil memorial there because the operations were controlled from Srinagar. Right? Then
Yes, sir. I have gone there and seen it.
You've seen it, no? From there you go
Yes,
to
sir.
Dras and Kargil. There also they have got these memorials for the soldiers. Go and have a look at it there. You will see it. That will
Yes,
give you,
sir.
and from there you can also see the mountains. They'll show it to you. Okay, that is Tiger Hill, that is Tolo Lane, and then you can understand how difficult it must have been to go up there.
Thank you so much for letting me know. I hope I can go there anytime soon.
I hope to, Jannat. I hope you too.
Thank you, Colonel Ajay, for answering the curious and the inquisitive minds. As we are now in the last few minutes of the webinar, a vote of thanks by Angad may be given. Angad, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I, Angad Singh, feel honored to present a vote of thanks for today's webinar. I wholeheartedly thank our speaker, Colonel Ajay Singh, for taking out time from his schedule to talk about the Kargil War. Thank you, sir, for giving us a detailed insight on how Kargil War was fought by our soldiers to reclaim the Indian land which was occupied by Pakistan. We shall always be indebted to our soldiers for their sacrifices and their commitment to the nation. Our obligations to our country never cease, but with our lives. Let us always be grateful to our soldiers for their dedication and protection. Thank you.
Thank you. And may I say something more? You say
Yes,
you
please.
are all,
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
yes, all of you are grateful. I am grateful to our soldiers for all that they have done. No, aren't we all? So
Yes.
what
Yes,
can
sir.
we do for them?
Yes, sir.
You tell me, what can we do for them? I will tell you.
Sir, we should remember them, ma'am. Sir, we should remember them every day, their victory, sir. And sir, we should celebrate it.
More than that we cannot do all the time. I think what you, me, every citizen of our
We
country
should become
do is-
better citizens and better people.
Yes. Be a good citizen who is worthy for that man to fight and die for. Don't do big things. Do small things. Don't spit on the roads. Never tell a lie. Never ever get divided by communalism. Never let that thought also come into your head. Be a good human being. Help other Indians. Be a good citizen. That is all that we can do. That is the only message which I want to give to you. And I do hope you will carry it in your hearts.
Before we conclude, let's all observe a minute's silence to pay our homage to the fallen heroes. Everybody to mute and let's keep a silence for a minute. Let us now, everybody, you all can unmute. You all can unmute. Just a minute, Bita. Just a minute. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Let us now end this webinar with a rouse of Jai Hind and Jai Bharat. मुझे जोर से आवाज आनी चाहिए जय हिंद जय भारत की जय हिंद
जय भारत
जय भारत जय हिंद जय भारत
जय हिंद जय भारत
जय जय भारत गीतिका मैम
Yes, ma'am.
You may end the webinar, please.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you so much, Colonel Ajay. That is indeed a pleasure.
A pleasure.
I
Thank you so
also
much.
from 4G background, so I've lived there like since I'm born there. So, but the way you have talked, the way you have narrated, and the end basically was icing on the cake. So I hope our kids and our students learn something and they can implement that, because I believe implementation is the basic key element there. We learn a lot, we have a lot of knowledge, but we sometimes lack at the implementation part. So thank you once again from the bottom of our hearts. I believe all the students are happy. I can see my chat box is full. They are literally excited to ask you so many questions. So we would like to have you again once again. And
It will be a pleasure.
so thank you so much, everybody, and thank
Welcome.
you.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Ajay.
Bye-bye.